So there are different types of jet engines. There is the turbojet, such as this engine here. And with the turbojet, all the air goes through the compressor, combustion can, and exhaust. So that's a turbojet. Don't see them too often now on commercial aircraft. More than likely, we'd only see these on military aircraft. The next type of engine is the turbofan. So the turbofan is basically a turbojet with a fan at the front of it. So this is the compressor section here. So that's a low pressure compressor, high pressure compressor. There's the combustion can. There's the turbines. So we have a high pressure turbine, low pressure turbine, and then we have a fan. So the air comes in, most of it goes around the outside of the engine. So the fan is accelerating the air through here. So this would be, let's say, our VJ fan. And then some of it comes through the engine itself. So it goes through the compressor. We call this the hot stream air. So this is cold stream, this is the hot stream. Actually, maybe I'll just change the color here. Bear with me. Okay, so the hot stream air comes through here, gets burnt in the combustion can, out through the turbines and out the back. The turbines here, they drive the fan and the low pressure compressor, and the high pressure turbines drive the high pressure compressor. So there will be some jet here, so I've called this jet of the hot section. And then our thrust will be the combination of thrust from the hot section and the cold section. But most of the thrust comes from the cold section. So that is a turbofan, and we discuss turbofans in terms of the bypass ratio. So what is the ratio of air that goes around the outside of the engine to what goes through the centre? And we have engines now up at around 9, 10, 11 to 1. So that's 11 times the mass goes around the outside as goes through the centre. You can also have a military turbofan where there is some bypass, but generally the bypass is very low. The bypass ratio might be 1.2 is to 1 compared to maybe 8 to 1 here. Okay, so we've turbojet, turbofan, and just to show you some examples from Wikipedia here, we have bypass ratios from 5 to 1 up now to 10 to 1 on the Trent 7000, which is on the Airbus A330neo. Okay. And we have a 10 to 1 on the Boeing 787. Earlier aircraft, so the say Boeing 777 for example, had a bypass ratio of 6.4 to 1. So the more modern equivalent of this would be the 787, and that's up at 10 to 1. So there's a big change in the bypass ratios. So another variation of the turbine is the turboprop. And once again, we have an inlet, we have a compressor section, we have a combustion section, we have a turbine section. But with the turbine section, we now have a turbine that goes all the way to a gearbox that turns a propeller. So it's similar in concept to the turbofan in that we're accelerating a large mass of air by a small amount. The difference between this and the turbofan is there's not a lot of thrust produced by the engine itself. So that hot section thrust, that's not that significant. It would be more significant with the turbofan engine, but it's not so significant. It's not so significant here. In fact, generally it's not included. Okay, so most or nearly all of the thrust comes from the turboprop. Another type of engine then is the turbo shaft. So again, there's a compressor, there's combustion, there's turbines, and the turbines go onto a gearbox, and this shaft then will drive. So for an aircraft, it might drive a generator. Okay, so we might have a generator here that generates electricity for the aircraft, and that will be like an APU, auxiliary power unit, that's in the back of an aircraft. Or it might go on to the gearbox of a helicopter, for example. So this could be the gearbox of a helicopter. There's the main rotor blades. So the engine turns onto the gearbox, and the gearbox then turns the blades. So that would be a turbo shaft. You can also have non-aviation derivatives of these engines. So you can have a marine Trent engine. So this would be used to propel a ship. And you could have an industrial Trent engine, and this could be, propelling a pump, for example. So this could be used to pump oil from the ground, or pump gas from a well or something like that. So these would be turbo shafts engines as well. Okay, so basically we have turbojet, turbovan, turboprop, and turbo shaft.